Good evening, everyone. I'm Art Fennell. As always, thanks for being a part of tonight's program. And as you watch this program, you're probably already thinking about your work week ahead. And many of you are dreading that, too. You're thinking about your grinding 9 to 5 or longer hours that you'll work, your grueling commute to get to the job, some of your co-workers that you don't particularly care for. Well, here's the concept. How would you like to have Fridays off all the time? How would you like to set your own work schedule, or better yet, work from a virtual office at your home? Well, believe it or not, a lot of companies are actually doing that in an effort to try and accommodate employees. We'll be talking about that tonight, and we'll hear from a Fortune 500 company that's already doing it. First, though, here's a report from Vallejo, California, where city workers there are getting their Fridays off. Correspondent Jesse Gary.
It's well after 5, and Vallejo City Hall is still open and bustling with business. 125 employees are putting in more hours on the clock each day in exchange for Fridays off.
Well, at first it was physically taxing because, you know, the long days, they're just long, and if you need to do anything after work, you're just exhausted afterwards.
City personnel tech Brenda Calhoun admits she wasn't a fan of the 410 early on. Starting in July of last year, the City Council decided all City Hall employees would work from 7:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, instead of the traditional 9 to 5. The goal was to save money, energy, and avoid rolling blackouts. But there were unintended benefits, too.
And we're open earlier to serve folks who might have the time in the morning before they commute, and open later for the folks who come home at 5:30, 6 o'clock at night.
Mark Mazzaferro with the city says a citywide survey conducted earlier this year showed 70% of residents support this shift change. And then there are the financial benefits. Last year, the city of Vallejo saved upwards of $75,000 by having City Hall workers work a 4-day work week. And this year, officials say they're going to try and save more money by putting solar panels on the roof of the police station. As for employees, those who spoke on camera gave 410 a high five.
I get housework done, I get to spend more quality time with my family. Any appointments I may have to go to the doctor or anything, I can schedule everything for a preset Friday.
The council now considers whether to continue the plan, and even those once cool to the idea of working longer days have warmed to Fridays off.
I've adjusted now, and I can go on with it, but if they don't, I'll adjust.
Making the adjustment. Now, employees at American Express are adjusting to the flexible work environment as well. That company has been ranked as Fortune magazine's one of the best places to work on that list. And also, they have something to do with a lot of the dedication to the employees and to the happiness of those employees. American Express offers what's called Sunshine Fridays, where the employees there are able to get out of work early on Friday. And it also offers summer hours, compressed work weeks, telecommuting, and even a new pilot program they're trying, which allows employees to create their own work week schedule. Vice President of Employee Relations for American Express, Lori Sundberg, joins me now from New York City to talk more about this. Ms. Sundberg, how's that working out for American Express?
It's actually been great, Art. Thanks so much for having me on today. We have a number of programs, as you described, that are working really well for us. And what we're finding is that employees, all different types of employees, have different needs for different flexible arrangements. So we're trying to, in the broadest sense possible, create ways to work, different ways to work for different people.
Have you seen an increase in the employee morale since you've been instituting this?
Absolutely. Employees are really excited about having these opportunities. And in fact, the last instance you mentioned where employees are allowed to set their own schedules, we have a separate team called the Project Resource Team where employees can apply for those jobs and work on a part-time basis and set their own schedules. And in a couple of cases, people who've left American Express have come back to our workforce in order to take advantage of that type of a program.
Setting your own schedule, now that's something that I'm sure a lot of people will be very, very interested in. Just deciding, look, I want to work these hours, I'll go in at these times, I'll avoid the big traffic jams in the morning and in the evening. But the question is this, does that relate to a decrease in productivity?
We haven't found that to be the case, but it is a fact that it's the setting your own schedule is a combination of what you need to do to accommodate your own work-life needs, as well as what that particular job entails. So in the case of this project resource team, these employees have opportunities to work on projects. Most of these employees work on a part-time basis, and they have certain family needs or personal needs that they need to meet, and then they work their schedules flexibly to also accommodate the needs of the project. So we find actually that these employees are very, very productive. They're very, very motivated, and it's been a great concept for us all the way around.
And American Express, reading your materials, is very keen on striking a balance for the work life and for the personal life of the employees, and I'm sure that the employees appreciate that. But is this geared more for the employees, or is it also geared for the consumer as well, people who need to do business with American Express?
Well, it's a bit of both. In my role, we focus mostly on the employees, and we believe that by having effective and happy employees who are really engaged and committed to American Express, they're in turn going to really provide top-notch service to our customers.
Yes. You know what? Here's the next question. In this day and age, I mean, we live in a telecommunications age and a virtual age nowadays. So the question is this: do we really need an office anymore at all? Do you need the brick and mortar around you to do your job effectively in an age of email and computers at home and cell phones and the like?
Yeah, it's a great question, and I think the reality is, in some cases we do need that. There are certain types of work and certain projects that really do require people to come together, and certainly relationships deepen when you have the opportunity to really work together face to face. But what we find is a combination of time spent virtually on the phone with email, inflexible time to make things work for you and your family as well as for the company, combined with the in-person time in the office, is a really great way to go.
How many people at American Express, not an actual number, but a percentage, would you say, of people who don't actually have a physical office space but are still doing productive work for the company?
Our latest results that we've taken as a company show about 7% of our workforce is working in some kind of flexible arrangement. That could be as few as 1 day a week flexibly or as much as full-time flexible.
And with that flexible work week for those types of employees, again, I'll ask the question, they've been effective, is what you're saying. You haven't seen any downside to that in terms of their productivity?
No, absolutely. We do see them being very effective for us, and more employees are talking to their leaders and taking advantage of these programs almost every day.
Do you see, at American Express, such a huge company and so many people do business with American Express, do you see this as becoming a broader trend, and that you guys are now on the cutting edge of starting something that might be catching on globally?
We hope so, actually, and we do believe that it's a trend in the workplace today. We believe that employees everywhere have work-family balance needs, and when I go out to recruit on college campuses, questions about how American Express supports an individual's need for work-family balance are some of the questions that arise early in the conversation with new employees looking at American Express as a potential employer. So we really believe that this is something that companies need to think about and need to do in order to attract the best talent.
Well, you know what, that's very interesting, and as we heard in the report just prior to our conversation, 70% of the people that they surveyed are in favor of these types of arrangements, and it's actually saving the company money in this regard because of the overhead that they've been able to reduce. So who knows, maybe we'll be seeing the 4 days a week and 10-hour days or virtual offices more and more.
I think we will.
All right. Lori Sundberg, thank you very much for joining me from American Express. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Art.
All right.
Thank you.